and gentlemen, President Benigno S. Aquino III.
I address you today about the incident that is now taking place in Sabah, allegedly under the leadership of Prince Raja Muda Agbimuddin Kiram. Our relations with Malaysia have always been colored by the issue of Sabah, an issue that has persisted for over half a century. This issue is complex, from the basis of our claim to the question of the rightful heirs, and even involving the translation of documents from an era where our grandparents weren't even born. This incident involves approximately 180 people, 20 to 30 of whom are armed. Having an armed group in Lahad Datu presents a challenge that the Malaysian authorities cannot ignore. From the outset of this incident, our primary consideration has always been to protect all lives. Secretary Del Rosario had already reached an agreement with the Malaysian Foreign Minister, Anifa, that this issue should be resolved in a peaceful manner. Our armed forces and police have been actively communicating with their Malaysian counterparts to help peacefully resolve the situation. Other agencies of government have also been tasked to prepare for any contingencies that could potentially affect our citizens. For example, the Philippine and Malaysian navies have worked together to prevent other groups from entering Lahad Datu. From the three extensions of the deadline given by Malaysia to the constant coordination as events unfolded, our efforts have not ceased. Apart from this, we have also sent a number of emissaries to the Kiram family to ask them to convince the group in Lahad Datu to return home peacefully. In fact, there is a humanitarian ship with social workers and medical officers on board nearby to facilitate the peaceful departure of those in Lahad Datu. What is clear is that the peaceful resolution of this issue is to everybody's interest. Even if we assume for the sake of argument that there are legitimate grievances, the presence of an armed group in Lahad Datu will only bring us further away from resolving these issues. Let me say to Sultan Jamalul Kiram III, I have just been made aware that a letter to me from you was sent through OPAP in the very first weeks of my term when we were organizing the government. Unfortunately, this letter was lost in the bureaucratic maze. Let me make clear that there was no intention to ignore your letter. Knowing this now, will you let your mistaken belief dictate your course of action? The avenue of peaceful and open dialogue is still available to us. Let us therefore sit down as brothers to address your grievances in a peaceful, calm manner, according to our laws and according to correct processes when your people arrive home. And so, this is my appeal to you. These are your people, and it behooves you to recall them. It must be clear to you that this small group of people will not succeed in addressing your grievances, and that there is no way that force can achieve your aims. You are a leader of your clan, and every leader seeks the well-being of his constituents. These times require you to use your influence to prevail on our countrymen to desist from this hopeless cause. The action of these people purporting to be your followers endangers more than just their own lives. They also put at risk our countrymen peacefully engaged in their livelihood in Sabah. These are hundreds of thousands of individuals. Their families, dependent on their wages, are likewise being made to suffer. Filipinos residing in Basilan, Sulu, and Tawi-Tawi who trade with Sabah have had their commerce disrupted. Most of these people are your fellow Muslims. This is a situation that cannot persist. If you are truly the leader of your people, you should be one with us in ordering your followers to return home peacefully. As President and Chief Executive of our laws, I have tasked an investigation into possible violations of laws by you, your followers, and collaborators engaged in this foolhardy act. May I remind you as well that as a citizen of the Republic, you are bound by the Constitution and its laws. Among your possible violations is Article 2, Section 2 of the Constitution, which states that the Philippines renounces war as an instrument of national policy. The enabling law of which is Article 118 of the Revised Penal Code, which punishes those, and I quote, who provoke or give occasion for a war, or expose Filipino citizens to reprisals on their persons or property. Close quote. Thus, you are now fully aware of the consequences of your actions. We have not yet reached the point of no return, but we are fast approaching that point. My duty is very clear. It is to protect the interests of all of our people, and if that is not possible, than to do what will redound to the interest of the greatest majority. This is the time to demonstrate that you are a true leader, both in name and deed. The right thing to do now would be to order your followers to return home as soon as possible. The choices and consequences are yours. If you choose not to cooperate, the full force of the laws of the state will be used to achieve justice for all those who have been put in harm's way. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Your first question for today will come from Marie Peña Ruiz of Radyo ng Bayan.
Good morning, Mr. President.
Good morning.
Are we giving them a deadline as to when they should come back?
I think
Like the 3 days, not
deadlines have
as of-
been thrown left and right. No, I think they are aware of the situation that is unfolding.
And Mr. President, do you smell sabotage in the peace process? And do you think the Kirams are acting on their own, or are there people behind him provoking them?
We are given reports that they are not in very good financial condition. And we are also told that there are quite a large amount of money involved in ferrying people on launches from Tawi-Tawi to Sabah. Hence, the first logical question would be, where did the funding come from? And who is funding them? So it seems clear at this point, but we are still collating evidence that this was not an action just on their part.
So, Mr. President, last. So these people are also subject of surveillance or investigation, sir?
Well, I think you heard in my speech, no? Collaborators are also part of those that will be made to answer.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. President, the next question will come from Ina Andulong of Solar News.
Good morning, sir.
Good
Sir,
morning.
earlier you said you ordered a study dun sa claims natin or the documents pertaining to our claim. Can we get an update on that, sir?
It's quite an extensive study. Perhaps can we flash? Can we show you just one of the end results? So this is the lineage of the rulers of Sulu, or the Sultanate of Sulu, from Sultan Jamalul Kiram II, whose reign ended or term ended in 1936. I understand he did not have any direct heirs. So you have all of these lines of people who claim, and may I just add, no, based on the research that was handed to me, Sultan Mawalil Wasit was the next designated sultan who unfortunately died before he got crowned. So you have all of these branches as to who should be the direct heir or who should be rulers. And you have at least 5 people who are claiming to be the Sultan of Sulu. Okay. So the problem, this is one of the first problems, who actually represents the Sultanate of Sulu. Okay. Then, again, it's a very extensive document. It's even single-spaced. There are actually 2 documents that have yet to be studied, submitted to me yesterday. So it's still a process that is ongoing.
Sir, our claim has been dormant for decades now. With you personally discussing this issue now, does this mean that we can expect some movement?
Can I
doon sa-
study the material that was given to me first, precisely to determine how strong our claim is?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, your last question will come from Mike Ubak of the Philippine Daily Inquirer.
Morning, sir.
Mike.
Sir, kapag pumayag silang umuwi, ano yung next na process para pag-usapan to?
Well, number one, uwi muna natin sila, no? We have one, sorry, I don't remember the technical name for the Philippine Navy ship. It's a landing craft utility at LCU, no? Which has on board social welfare officers and medical personnel, several doctors and nurses on board to ferry everybody home. Okay. Once that is done, no, let us ease the tensions. Within a week or 2 weeks later, then we can sit down, no, with Sultan Jamalul Kiram III, no, and precisely map out, no, their grievances and see the way forward after that.
Iaakyat natin to sa any international body or
Premature yata, Mike, at this point in time. No, let us, again, give me a little time to study the material that was given to me. Let me restate, no. This is the first time I think we issued a claim on Sabah was sometime in 1962.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the source documents come from 1878, 1903, and so on and so forth. There is an allegation that the translations handed to the signatories of various treaties are not even faithful reproductions of each other's copy No, it seems there is an impression that everybody took home a copy that they were very happy with, which means that three parties negotiating for their own interests cannot all be satisfied to the same extent unless they were looking at different documents.
Mr. President, anong value nun they're paying a paltry sum of 77,000, I think, every month to the Sultanate?
Can I reserve comment on that until I finish
Thank you.
the study? Okay?
Those are all the questions today, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good morning, everybody.